Why are anime and manga like this? Hi y'all, it's Amy, and I kind of decided to make a little video essay about the fact that I have been feeling a bit iffy about anime and manga as a whole lately. So, these are my thoughts. Ever since I started watching anime and not reading manga because I'm dyslexic, I noticed a very common theme from anything produced by mangakas. There's certain heavy topics that are never taken seriously and are romanticized, sexualized, or sort of played off as funny. You know exactly what I mean. Have you ever seen an anime manga that doesn't romanticize incest, sexualizing women and little girls, and doesn't hate gay and trans people? It doesn't have to be all those categories in one, as most don't actually have all those categories in one. Most of them have one or two, and almost all of them sexualize women to the point where it feels like I can't enjoy anime and manga anymore. What's worse is that every popular anime out there is just full of these problematic issues. I'm talking like top tier popularity stuff. I'm gonna piss off a lot of people, but this stuff has a lot of problems. Not that I hate all of them, only some. Part 1. Dehumanization and sexualization of women in anime. One Piece. A lot of people will criticize me for this because One Piece has quote-unquote good female characters regarding personality, which is untrue. But One Piece women have never been in the center of the story. Even in the main cast, the women don't really contribute much compared to all the male characters. Besides that, everybody knows about the horrific character designs of women in One Piece. One Piece has the worst representation of female bodies in all of anime, and that's including stuff like Aphrodite from Record of Ragnarok. Seriously. Not to mention that every female character in One Piece is just Nami with different eyes and hair. As someone who watched One Piece and was a big fan ever since the time skip, I felt like the designs have been getting so much worse. It feels like every female character's design is just an inflatable sex doll. The thing that really hurts me is that when I found out that the creator, Oda, said himself that this show is not for women and that is instead for young boys. After hearing that, I genuinely felt hurt and almost dropped the show entirely. It doesn't help that the queer characters in the show are also represented like this. I know it has been sort of getting better now with Okiku being a trans woman and not looking like whatever the fuck that was. This is also ignoring the fact that One Piece had 16-year-old minors looking like this. Ugh. No amount of good writing is gonna make you innocent of this shit. Alright, I know One Piece is low-hanging fruit regarding topics like this, but now let's talk about the second mentioned, which is Jujutsu Kaisen. Part 2. Portrayal of grooming, romanticized. JJK and Chainsaw Man. Jujutsu Kaisen is a very popular anime by the time this script is being written, and has a lot of these issues. One thing that I've noticed with how people talk about the female characters, it appears to me that they're very poorly written and don't really do anything. By the way, I've only watched 3 episodes of this show, and me and Alice were watching it together. We kind of dropped it because it just felt like I don't know, like Chainsaw Man, I can make a kill over again. It's kind of boring. I didn't like it. But this section isn't about that. We're here to talk about that one character. Kill me. The portrayal of Mei Mei in Jujutsu Kaisen is sickening. Mei Mei grooms her little brother for no reason, with zero plot relevance, and it isn't even portrayed as something bad in the story. It's just there. Animated a grown-ass woman naked in bed with her little brother. Did they have to do that? No. Was it necessary? No. Does it contribute to the plot whatsoever? No. Is it disgusting? Absolutely. The main point is that when you add stuff like this in your manga and anime, and you do nothing to portray it as something that's just... something that's funny or romanticized or even worse, good, you do nothing but make yourself look like you enjoy it in a fetish way. On that note, Chainsaw Man is praised on its writing in regard of Makima for being a good villain and such and such. Makima is not a good portrayal of grooming because she isn't a real character. She is one of the author's fetishes turned into a character. That's true. He himself has admitted that. You can't tell me otherwise. The portrayal of what she does is never seen as bad directly. And even the main character isn't ever seen experiencing any trauma from being essayed every fucking millisecond. And not even that, he still expresses love for her after killing her at the end of the story. How worse can you portray essay? I'm not even going to talk about the second part of Chainsaw Man because it's not even worth reading. I dropped that. I know people are gonna say that, it's how he was so groomed and all. I don't care. It doesn't make sense. That's not what would happen. If you've ever been groomed or assaulted like that, even as a minor, you would not have these thoughts later. Trust me, I know. Another thing about Chainsaw Man is the scene of Himeno and Denji. Neither in the manga or the anime is portrayed as a moment where Denji is being assaulted, and more as something that is hot or sexy, even though Denji is a minor being assaulted by a grown woman. And I know a lot of people say that you shouldn't look at the fandom to understand the anime, or separate the anime from the fandom. But the fandom tells you how the story is being interpreted by everyone else. And everybody can be wrong for the same thing, in this extent, at least. I know that's a silly thing to say, but when you write a story, people are going to interpret it. And most people will probably interpret what you said correctly. Most of the time. A lot of people really love Makima and Mei. They think they're hot. A lot of people cosplay as them. A lot of people love those characters. I don't think this is them misinterpreting the show and looking at these characters in a romanticized and sexualized way. I think this is exactly what the authors are putting down. In Berserk, Griffith does what Makima and Mei do in sort of a similar way, but worse. See how I said worse there? Nobody likes Griffith. Nobody wants to cosplay as Griffith. People hate Griffith. And know that Griffith is a piece of shit. People know that even though Griffith is much more sympathetic than both of these women, throughout, the fucking torture he experienced, Griffith is evil. Because that's what the author wrote. Griffith is a good portrayal of grooming in essay, because that's what the author wrote. Part 3. Fascism, Mega Kill, and Attack on Titan. I don't want to yap too much about this on my own, but I can let my girlfriend do that.
Hi, I'm Alice. Mega Kill was the first anime I really got into, and at the time I paid no attention to the fanbase. To realize that most people were obsessed with Esdeath was deeply worrying. A woman dressed in Nazi-esque uniform who was introduced to the story as she is committing genocide against the tribal people, who later goes on to sexually assault the main character and pretty much cause him to kill himself. Esdeath is pretty much a textbook fascist, believing in her nation's supremacy and demanding the deaths of those who oppose her. Attack on Titan is a very well-known and beloved series, and there are already several wonderful video essays addressing the deeply problematic elements, such as Eren's abuse towards Mikasa and the Holocaust parallels. However, Owen's last charge is a notable moment from the series, as it was very impactful on a lot of the audience, including myself. In this moment, Owen's men are visibly experiencing shell shock, and he orders them to their deaths. Owen tells them that if they don't do anything, their lives will not matter, and tells them that to not ride to their deaths would be disappointing those who had already fallen. This line of thinking is deeply similar to how many fascist soldiers have thought in the past, that if they don't fight, it was all for nothing, so they might as well go and die anyway. They have no value in their own lives, and instead have much more value in the nation they are protecting. It's a deep sense of nationalism, and also very death culty. This is, of course, without mentioning Eren's quest for genocide, fueled by the death of his own mother, which he himself orchestrated. Attack on Titan is a very well-written piece of fascist propaganda that works to bring the audience to the side of Eren, who really, throughout the story, is the primary antagonist. Akame ga Kill, on the other hand, sexualizes fascism and portrays horrific criminals as attractive whilst ignoring Esdeath's very blatant pedophilia. What's worse about these elements of nationalism and fascism is that they're present throughout most anime, with the root of it, of course, being the Japanese nationalism of World War II. There was no effort made to erase the ideas of racial supremacy brought about by that period, and as such, a lot of it has stuck around. Japanese fascism is still a very prevalent thing in Japan, and a lot of the heinous crimes that they committed during the war are still denied by them, such as the actions of Unit 731. A lot of people will treat anime as if it is completely devoid of political messaging, while failing to realize that politics is present within everything, including anime and manga.
Part 4. Sexual assault isn't funny. A lot of anime has a trope, and kind of an industry standard at this point, to add sexual assault and harassment to their stories in one form or another. It's true. If you look at almost any anime, whether it be seinen, or slice of life, or especially shonen, it will have an element of sexual assault or harassment, and will not portray it seriously. I'm sure everybody knows about the trope of the main character just randomly groping any female character from the show, no matter who the female character is. Whether it be a minor, or an adult, the love interest, the main character's mother, their sister. Yeah, this happens in all popular anime. And as I mentioned before, it happens in Akame ga Kill, first episode. It happens in Parasite, first episode. It literally happens in everything. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which doesn't do this random groping specifically, does have sexual assault occurring at least once per part, and a lot of it is made out to be a joke. Oh god. Lisa being peeped on, and the scene with Dio assaulting Erina, these scenes are portrayed as being comedic, rather than a serious portrayal of sexual assault. Even if other scenes aren't portrayed as comedic or funny, they're still extremely unnecessary and can be upsetting to a lot of people. Many victims of sexual violence have their PTSD affected by these portrayals. For example, flashbacks or panic attacks caused by witnessing a portrayal of something that the person previously experienced IRL. This kind of stuff needs to be taken extremely seriously, as it is generally causing many people harm and further worsening existing psychological traumas. Post-traumatic stress disorder is characterized by the failure to recover after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. Both myself and Alice are people who suffer from this disorder. 5 in every 100 adults will have experienced PTSD at some point in their lives. It's a deeply serious condition caused by disgusting events and the actions of other people. There have been several times where I have seen Alice's reaction to things that have triggered her traumatic memories. When we tried to watch a romantic lesbian movie, we had to stop watching after a scene involving drowning, which caused Alice to almost become completely non-verbal and cry almost for an hour, When we attempted to start watching Gen V, there was an off-screen rape scene, and we had to stop watching, as both Alice and I were deeply unsettled and made very unstable by it. This thing was very unnecessary. It doesn't contribute to the plot. Personally, I've had a lot of problems watching anime. I've seen a lot of slice of life, and I've been viscerally disgusted by what I saw on screen. I sort of started watching Uzaki-chan, and there's a lot of grope scenes in that show, and it's made me deeply uncomfortable. I remember the time I was assaulted while I was out. The portrayal of assault in that show being, he touched her tits, that's so funny, pisses me off so much. I quit watching that show because I couldn't bear the amount of sexual assault portrayed in that anime. The fact that in a lot of these quote-unquote romance animes, the love interest dating shit happens the moment the woman is groped. It makes me so angry. I cannot put into words how angry it makes me that suddenly a very independent female character, the moment they are sexually assaulted and groped by the main OC dude, they suddenly lose their interest in the story, they stop being their own character, and they become the main dude's love interest. The following are two shows I haven't watched, will not watch, and refuse to watch. Rent a Girlfriend and 7 Deadly Sins are as bad as published viewable anime and anime manga can get. Rent a Girlfriend is an example of how parasocially the author can put themselves in their own little show, ending up with Rent a Girlfriend, somehow being a misogynistic cock fantasy. And 7 Deadly Sins is filled to the brim with terrible animation, bad acting, CP, pedophilia, misogyny, sexual assault, rape, manipulation, and all these things are done by the main cast and the main character. These things are all portrayed as funny, good, and how the story should go. The main ships of the show are all pedophilic. Every character in the show has either raped a child or is a child that is being raped and likes it. What the fuck? The mangaka that created the show likes to draw naked children posing intimately. How the hell has this person not been arrested yet? What the fuck? On another note, this whole video essay is focused on animanga, of course, but animanga isn't the only media that has this specific problem. A lot of the Korean manga stuff is riddled with taboo topics, things of similar nature, and a lot of Western comics are a cesspit of weird incest and pedophilia. One webtoon that I've been informed of recently is Lore Olympus. It's gonna get its own Netflix show. The main character is a baby-faced, busty short stack, 4 feet 2, pink little lady, and the main love interest is a 6-foot-old man. Sure. All sorts of comic media have problems and are problematic, but animanga is the focus because of the sheer volume of reprehensible things happening in them for no reason. For a funny reason. For a romanticized reason. Conclusion. Anime is targeted towards lonely people, especially lonely men. And lonely men are some of the most atrocious humans I've ever seen. Men that are lonely are as bad as humans can get. Sure, women can be lonely and also be bad, but they don't get to this point. Lonely men go from simply just being socially awkward and weird to being Nazis, to being pedophiles. They don't stop. Lonely men are the worst people imaginable. Anime's main cater is lonely dudes. It's made for losers, otaku culture. And loser men have something called a power fantasy, which causes them to want anything from the most misogynistic anime fantasy you can think of to abusing children. The fact that anime caters to men specifically, I think, is what causes it to be this disgusting. When your fan base is so desperate to feel powerful, they will go to all sorts of lengths to fulfill their fantasies. You have to give them the drug, fucked up elements in the show, to keep them satisfied. Shows that people watch are a reflection of the people that watch them. Berserk, as good as it is, isn't escaping from the fact that it's just another male fantasy. It's not the main part of the story, but a lot of people watch it for that, and a lot of people misinterpret it. That can happen, you know. You can misinterpret a story. What I think the root of the issue is that Japan itself is a horrible, disgusting country, because anime is also reflective of that damn nation. Like all the other stuff mentioned before, Japan hates women, hates gays, hates black people, hates everything. Japan is a nation that is made for Japanese men that want to be able to do what they want to anyone else. They assault women, they assault children, and they sure as fuck assault gay people. We are reflections of our upbringing, so I don't expect any Japanese authors to be better than the countries that's benefiting them. Thank you for watching this video essay. It took a while to write this, and sure took a while for me to record it. Make sure to subscribe. You can also become a member of this channel, which gives me money. Make sure to donate to the Gofundme so I'm able to move in with my girlfriend and, you know, get out of this house. Thanks for watching.